Waves of Arctic air associated with the polar vortex and a couple of major winter storms look likely heading into early December. We're going to break it all down for you here this evening. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Sunday evening out there and wonderful weekend out there as well. Today is Sunday, November the 23rd, 2025. And if you are having a wonderful weekend, we'll press the like button because I'm having a wonderful weekend as well. And also like the video if you do enjoy it though. In general, I do appreciate it. Share it, hype it, and also subscribe to the channel. We cover the United States, of course. We cover Canada and the tropics during tropical weather season. You can also follow me on Facebook, on my new Facebook page, for quick, informative, and straightforward weather updates on there. I'll have that in the link down below the video and in the comment section as well. So let's get into the forecast this evening, and it all starts upstairs in the stratosphere, right? The top down, and that is the process we're looking at here this winter. And we've already seen some stratospheric warming over the past week that has resulted in some colder temperatures across portions of Europe. And typically when Europe gets cold, eventually downstream, the United States will get cold about a week after. And I do feel a major sudden stratospheric warming event is likely to take place next weekend. This will impact us by the middle of December. So let's look here at the December as a whole, and you see a lot of blue on the map here, and it is no surprise that with the polar vortex becoming unstable, it will unleash waves of Arctic and even Siberian air to North America, including our very own down here in the lower 48. So that's something we're going to be breaking down here in the weather forecast in this evening's update. But let's look at the short term here because that matters as well. We have a little bit of a trough up here in the northeast, a ridge building across the Midwest, a little bit stronger this afternoon, and then you notice some blue down here into New Mexico and Arizona. That is a cutoff low pressure system this evening. This will be a feisty storm as it moves eastward as we go through the next couple of days, and it will link up with a trough that's going to be digging into the Midwest here, kind of loosely getting phased together and potentially bringing some snowfall to our friends up here in the north across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes as we go into before Thanksgiving Day. So let's look here at the now, and we have in green, that's the rain stretching from western Kansas down into western Oklahoma and into the Texas Panhandle. Also some moisture feedback here into Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. In the blue in Colorado, that is snowfall in the higher elevations south of Denver. And as we go through Monday morning, we're going to be watching a heavy rain setup here from basically central and north Texas up into southeastern Oklahoma and southwestern Arkansas. And this is the very area that just saw flash flood emergencies several days ago, and the soil here is very saturated, so I do feel it won't take a lot of rainfall to get that flash flood guidance exceeded enough to produce that flooding threat across portions of, say, the DFW Metroplex, Texarkana, Little Rock, even McAllister, Oklahoma, going through Monday morning. As we go throughout the day on Monday, we're going to be watching that storm system shifting further east, and also coming into the picture is a Clipper system dropping out of Alberta. You always hear about those Alberta Clippers. Well, here's one of the first ones of the season. It's going to be spreading some snowfall up here into Montana, northern Wyoming, through southern Canadian prairies of Alberta and Saskatchewan, into the North Dakota. This will be as we go into Monday evening. And then again, severe weather, heavy rainfall on the southern flank down here across portions of the lower Mississippi Valley, and then going up through the start of Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are probably traveling pre-Thanksgiving on Wednesday, November 26th. Our storm system low pressure up near Lake Superior. It's going to be wrapping in some snow for our friends in Minnesota, parts of northern Wisconsin, into areas of western lower Michigan. Some of the snow over Lake Superior and then into western upper peninsula of Michigan could be moderate to heavy at times with the lake enhancement. So lake effect snow there, rainfall primarily in the east until that colder air comes in on the backside. Then that lake effect snow machine will definitely be a problem once we get towards Thanksgiving. So through midweek, this is through 7 a.m. on Wednesday, November 26th. Keep in mind, a lot of travel here. We potentially could be seeing a very heavy rainfall pockets across Texas, stretching eastward into Arkansas, northern Louisiana, into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, into North Georgia, and Tennessee. And then some of that rainfall could sneak up into Kentucky as well. A lot of that remaining south of the Ohio River, though, and some of this rainfall could be heavy, like I mentioned, 2 to 4 inches worth of rainfall, and a lot of this in a pretty short amount of time. So it's no surprise the Weather Prediction Center does have a slight risk for flash flooding here across west and central Texas as we go through the rest of tonight, and then more of East Texas, Arkansas, northern Louisiana, getting up toward Memphis there in Tennessee, also over there toward Vicksburg and Jackson, Mississippi, as we go into Monday night into Tuesday morning. So that is something we're watching, of course, with this storm. And then the snowfall, like we mentioned, the snow could be wrapping in on the backside. We got that Clipper system coming in from Canada, meeting up and loosely phasing with our southern stream system up over the Great Lakes here. And this could produce a decent lake effect snow machine as we get towards Thanksgiving here, and a snowstorm for southeastern Canada, for Ontario and Quebec. All this blue here, that is snow. And it's a pretty strong low at 991 millibars. So that will also come with potentially some wind. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But here's the snowfall through 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning, November 26th. And notice it's a light swath of snow. We're not seeing like a foot of snow or anything like that, but there could be a couple inches here, especially in grassy surfaces across portions of Montana, into the Dakotas, into northern Minnesota, far northern Wisconsin up there, and into the western upper peninsula of Michigan. Otherwise, the snow event will really start to pile up there in southeastern Canada. That's where we could see around 6 to 12 inches of snow from Thursday into Friday, though. So that's what we're keeping an eye on the cold side. Back to the warm side briefly, we are watching severe weather. Slight risk of severe weather in West Texas as we go through the rest of this evening. Slight risk shifts east of I-35 as we go into East Texas tomorrow, into Louisiana, Shreveport, Monroe, getting into western Mississippi there, keeping a very close eye on those areas. For scattered severe weather in yellow, isolated severe weather in dark green, there is a heightened tornado risk. In brown, that's a 5% chance of tornadoes. That's within a 25-mile radius of any given point in and around this area. In the green, that's a 2% chance of tornadoes in big cities here. Houston, Tyler, College Station, into Shreveport, Monroe, Lake Charles, Jackson, and even up as far north as almost to the Memphis area. We got to watch for some rotation as we go through Monday. And then, of course, severe weather on more of an isolated scale, marginal risk eastward towards Georgia as we go into Tuesday. So the temperature trends this week will start warm, which is why we're seeing a lot of the red out here on the map. And then we're going to start to see the colder air moving inward and into the United States from Canada. And it's going to be setting up a colder than normal Thanksgiving for a lot of us in the central and especially the eastern U.S., really starting to highlight that from the Midwest into the Ohio Valley with the coldest temperature anomalies for Thanksgiving. A little bit milder across the western third of the country west of the Rockies. Now, Thanksgiving, for travel during the day on Thanksgiving, we're going to be watching lake effect snow bands. So if you're traveling up around the lakes, make sure to have a radar app handy because there could be quite a bit of snow there. Strong high pressure, 1032, 1028, 1037. That is a lot of cold air coming in from Canada, dry in the central U.S. And then here comes our next system that we're watching in late November. We'll talk about momentarily. That'll be producing moisture in the Pacific Northwest, especially there into Washington State on Thanksgiving Day. Now, the wind we just mentioned a few minutes ago, it's going to be windy across the Great Lakes and into the New England region, where we could be seeing potentially wind gusts over the lakes up to 50 miles per hour. So that is going to cause a lot of blowing and drifting. If we see those heavy lake effect snow bands really start to set up there, winds will be lighter the further west you go here into the United States for Thanksgiving Day. Now, beyond Thanksgiving, if you are traveling home, now post-Thanksgiving, a major winter storm has been well advertised on my videos for the past couple of days, continues to be, as we have a very active pattern setting up, I do feel, across the United States as we go into the final few days of November, but especially the first week of December here. Notice a lot of dark greens, even blues. That's well above normal precipitation. And again, look at the areas in play here. Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And this is not good because we have a lot of moisture coming. We already had a lot of moisture, so saturated soil and waterlogged ground is going to be the name of the game there. Now, looking at the setup here, very simply, the blue is a trough, the red here is the ridge. And notice when you see a ridge up toward the Bering Strait in Alaska and up toward the Arctic Circle, that is a big signal for cold air getting dislodged from the Arctic all the way across polar flow, across Canada, and has a one-way ticket to the United States. And you can see a deep trough starting to develop here on the right side of that ridge, and that is going to be our active pattern that will be setting up in early December. Look at the temperature difference here in the central U.S. You got the ridge east, you got the trough west, and the battleground right in between is where we're going to see those storms set up. So as we go into Friday, November 28th, here comes that Clipper system look again, and this is going to start to link up again with our subtropical jet. So our polar jet from the north, our subtropical jet from the south, phasing together, and depending how strong they phase will depend on the magnitude of our storm system and how strong it could get. So we could have a long duration snow event, or we could have 3 separate snow events that are every 24 to 36 hours here from the Central Plains, Midwest into the Great Lakes and interior New England up and exiting out into eastern Canada. Rain in the green will be more likely further south, and then we'll also have a mixed zone in between where the warmer air moves in over the shallow cold air and produces potentially an ice storm. So looking here at a generalized picture, again, we're not going to be giving you snow amounts. It is nebulous to do that because it's still 7-8 days out. But what I can do is show you the trends, and it looks like it's trending snowier for the northern plains, perhaps the central plains through much of the Midwest, northern Ohio Valley, especially near the lakes there. Obviously the Great Lakes, and then New England, and then eventually into eastern Canada again. We'll see more mountain snow out west. This takes us through the first 5 days of December. Notice where the rain is here. This is the rain map, and very similar areas, unfortunately, maybe just a tick further east than our past few systems. But nonetheless, the mid and lower Mississippi Valley, Tennessee, lower Ohio River Valley here are going to be moisture laden with our systems coming up. A lot of very heavy rainfall and flooding will be possible. And then we talk about the polar vortex breaking down. It's going to send waves of Arctic and even Siberian air to the United States as we finish off here into November and get into December. Here's wave number 1. This is November 30th going into the morning of December 1st. Notice that ridge spiking up in Alaska. That's dislodging that colder air further south. And then as we go here into the late portion of that week, the 4th into the 5th, here is another one coming down from Canada and into the central United States, and that process is going to repeat itself. Here comes another one as we get toward the 7th and 8th. So every kind of 2 to 3 days, we're going to be seeing a reinforcing shot of Arctic and Siberian air, and eventually it will coalesce with the precipitation, and that will bring some snowfall. Even some southern snow. It's going to take time, folks. This is not an overnight setup. So I've seen people in the comment section say, where's the snow that you've been talking about? It's crazy. It's 60 degrees here in Indianapolis today. It's coming, guys. I promise you the winter pattern change is coming. It's going to be a slow process at first, but once it's here, it will be locked in place once we get through Christmas. And here's the look through Christmas Day. It looks like we could have a lot of folks that are cold and snow lovers happy that we could get a white Christmas this year out west, up here to the north, and even in parts of Canada, but obviously into the east as well, and even some hope that potentially we could see a white Christmas further south into the southern states like Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, and the Carolinas is still on the table potentially this winter season. So thank you all for watching. Again, for accurate weather forecasts, you come here. Make sure to subscribe to the weather channel, or my weather channel here, as we cover Canada, the United States, and the tropics during tropical weather season. Like the video, share it, hype it, and again, follow me on Facebook. We do a quick, accurate, and informative, really like straight to the point weather updates on my Facebook page. Can't stress that enough. Go check it out there. Lots of great stuff. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful, safe rest of your weekend out there.